Hello, hello. Welcome to my studios. She made it.
Hello.
So Lil is with us today on Instagram and of course on Facebook in just a moment, which is great. And honestly, it's just such a joy to have you, my lovely girl.
So nice to be here.
Right, let me get our Facebook pals on and then you can say hi to them as well. Hi, Facebook.
Hello.
Look who it is.
Hi.
She made it this week. She made it. So it's just, one of the great things. Oh, and yeah, Basil made it too. Hello, Baz. Nice to be part of the action. It's just been a real pleasure having, a daughter that you work with because you can kind of live and work together, which is good.
It's been fun.
So here we are in my studios with Botanical Baz, and I just wanted to pick up on a few things actually that we talked about yesterday, because that kind of has provoked, I think, quite a big reaction. So for those of you who missed it, I did a piece really about anxiety and about putting things into perspective, and hi Teresa on Facebook, and about one of the key things I said is just it's the toxic media, you've got to turn it off. And I don't know whether you heard this, Lil, because I know you weren't well yesterday.
No, I wasn't.
So there was a great comment. I actually screenshotted it. And that's partly what got me thinking about all of this. And it was posted on Instagram by Wildview Retreat. And this is somebody who, I think she I'm assuming it's she, it could be he, lives in Portugal, and they're back in the UK. And they said on this post, I'm back in the UK for a couple of weeks. I can't help feel how easily affected I've been by the tsunami of negativity in the UK media, drip feeding us hour by hour, day by day. Turning it off for a few days, it's like a huge weight has been lifted. I've realised to live unaffected, listen to this, by the brainwashing and never-ending marketing of toxicity. We really need to learn to manage our exposure as they won't do it for us. I mean, that just so struck with me, the never-ending marketing of toxicity. And that's what we want to break.
Absolutely.
So, we're not saying that we're going to cure the world's problems, but we are going to hopefully help get a bit of balance and a bit of positivity. And so we're going to talk about quite a few things today. Thank you very much, Amy, for being on Facebook. Amy would normally be here working in the studios with us, but of course she's not. So she's home working and she's tuned in and chatting away on Facebook, putting all the links to everything. So easy, Facebook, super easy for links because we can just pop them in there directly for you to click on. I know a lot of you guys on Instagram will actually watch live on Instagram and then hop over to Facebook to check all the links, so that's easy. Otherwise, on Instagram, we do have Linktree. So that's in my main bio. So if you're brand new, I know we're growing all the time. Many of you may be tuning in for the very first time today. If you go to my bio, which is where my little circle picture is, and that gives you a bit of blurb about me, and at the bottom is a blue Linktree link. And if you click on that, that is the magic door for Instagram, because that just opens up all the links that we're able to post to the podcasts that we talk about, to the features online, the recipes, the whatever it is, it's usually all there. And if you can't find it there, the chances are it will be on the website, which is lizearlewellbeing.com. So let us crack on. There's a few questions and comments that have come in. I think, actually, to be honest, more comments than questions. This was from Jennifer on Instagram. And she left this for me yesterday saying, your chats are always lovely, but today's was particularly helpful. I need to switch off the news apps and stop reading feeds on Facebook. Obviously, apart from ours, obviously. I've been suffering with anxiety for the past couple of days and woken each morning with a pounding headache. I'd like to live on a small island where life is calm and happy, but your advice of switching off will be just as good. Thank you. Well, I certainly think it's good to get balance. And I think, as I said yesterday, we have to remember that these news agencies, whether they are broadcast media or online or whatever, they give us clickbait all the time and they just want to give us the bad spin. I was listening to the news this morning because I do turn on in the morning just to get a snapshot on the hour, just to make sure there's nothing, major that's happened. But everything was presented in the negative way. And of course, you can always find the negative spokesperson, can't you, that will, be anti whatever somebody positive is trying to do. So Snowflake72, you say on Instagram, Just sat and watched your live from yesterday. I watched after a day at work and it was wonderful to switch off. I like your chats more as they're not political and don't focus on the news. It's a place where we can cocoon and discuss things without toxicity or being shot down in flames by others with different opinions. Yeah, I think that's really true. You know, I mentioned that I've occasionally forayed into Twitter sphere, but it's a nightmare, isn't it? You know, particularly I think for women, you know, if they see a lone woman, particularly, you know, somebody with a profile, oh my goodness, you just get rocks chucked at you. So I tend to follow medics and people like that.
Yes, it's good for that.
And, you know, I know you follow a lot of people, you know, particularly in the migraine area. And,
I do, yeah.
You know, and you can click on links. Is it the National Migraine Centre? They do quite a lot on Twitter.
No, they actually do more on they are on Twitter, but I primarily interact with them through Instagram.
Oh, cool.
Because they a lot on their stories. They do a lot of polls
and
do they?
Oh, that's interesting.
New research and stuff on their stories.
Oh, good tip if you're migraine sufferer. And so what's the National Migraine Centre?
Yeah, just at National Migraine Centre.
Yeah, they probably do it on Facebook too. So
yeah,
brilliant. So Snowflakes is saying, thank you, Liz. I too don't listen to the news very much or read the newspapers, gaining only the essentials. The news feeds are especially sensationalised and frankly overly depressing. Absolutely. We don't hear the good news stories. The papers seem to feed us what they think is relevant. Anyway, thank you for all your pieces. I've enjoyed the calm discussions. I've taken on board some ideas. Well, thank you. There's a good guy, actually, I do follow on Twitter, called Professor Carol Sikora, and he does quite a good take. He's an eminent oncologist, so he is worth following, I think. This is from Sarah, who says, thanks for your IGTV. They're motivating and inspiring. I messaged you a few months back as I was so fed up with myself. Oh dear, I'm sorry about that. Now I'm a stone lighter. Isn't that great? Fitter and stronger. Can almost do a push-up. Excellent.
So
keep going. Oh my goodness, you know, you never know what you can do until you start, and you just have to start.
I remember Michael asking me to do my first press up, and I was like, I'm sorry, no, I can't do a press up. And he was like, no, you can.
Just do it.
Just do it. I couldn't do it, but we got there in the end.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that you're going to be fit enough soon to go back and do some more training. Sarah says, my mental health is improving. Well, you know, we know that fitness is so highly connected, don't we, to mental health. HRT definitely makes a difference too. Absolutely. I'm trying to find the right balance, but such an improvement. It's gobsmacking and totally wrong that we are left in the dark to find out our way with the menopause. So thank you, Liz. Just to say on that, I was in touch with our friend, Dr. Louise Newsom, this morning. She's got some exciting news on Friday, and I have persuaded her to come back and chat with me here, Facebook and IGTV, on Saturday. So pop that in your diary, and if you've got any HRT or menopause questions, she's going to be here not only live with me, but also a team of her amazing doctors are going to be also on hand to answer questions on my Instagram and Facebook. Isn't that cool? So thank you guys, really looking forward to that. Right. So, oh gosh, lots and lots and lots of questions. Actually, questions about skin and skincare. So, yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that because there's something that I want to do which I thought would be helpful. But before we kind of leap into all of that, Lil, I know a lot of people have been following your journey and listening to your podcast on migraine.
I get such nice comments from you all. You're all so lovely and supportive. I really appreciate it.
It makes such a difference, doesn't it? Kind of being part of a team, part of a family, knowing that you're not alone. And I think a lot of what you spoke about in that podcast will resonate with people who also have chronic pain, fibromyalgia, lots of chronic issues, which, you know, you don't... I mean, when you look at you, you just look lovely. Then nobody realises what's going on inside your body and how you're actually feeling.
It lasts about an hour till I crumple in a corner.
Yeah, I know. And, you know, I became really aware of this because, you know, I'd known for the last nearly 2 years that Lil was really struggling and really suffering with migraine, and I thought, oh, it's just a bad headache, you know. And it was only really after lockdown and we started living together, and I could see 24/7 actually everything that was going on day in, day out, and that's, you know, that was really it was a big shock, and we've been really lucky to connect with lots of medics, the National Migraine Centre,
Yeah.
Dr. Katie Munro, who came and did a podcast with us. Thank you very much, Amy. I know that you're putting all the links to that. You'll find the links, guys, on Linktree, and you'll find them obviously on Liz Earle Wellbeing. If anybody hasn't found our podcast yet, it's the Liz Earle Wellbeing Show, and you find it on, well, we use Acast as a platform, but it's Spotify, isn't it? And
Oh yeah, it goes out on all the podcast
Apple
platforms, yeah.
iTunes, everything. And Lily, of course, knows this because she is involved in recording them.
I am.
Yeah, so this is Heart Dialogue.
I am one half of Heart Dialogue.
One half, Lil and Harry. So you started your new company literally months before this whole lockdown happened. So
gosh, yeah. We were kind of doing beta tests with you guys, but actually opening up to the public was like a month before lockdown.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
all
a
had to
bit
wait.
disheartening, but it'll be fine.
It will be fine, and
Yeah.
we think positively, and we're finding ways to record remotely. A lot of my more recent guests we've been doing on via Skype or Zoom or Ringer. We've been looking at trialing different things,
Yeah,
haven't
we
we?
have.
And we're about to go back. I'm hoping actually this week. Don't hold me to it. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed, to be able to record my Friday 5 and have that go out. And that was just a little podcast that I used to do every Friday. But of course, since lockdown, I've been doing all of this, and I don't want to give this up either. So it's just finding a way. But then all my podcast listeners are saying, "Why aren't you podcasting anymore?" And we miss the Friday 5. So it's trying to find that little bit of balance. So one of the things that we did, which was really interesting, was talk about the role of histamine in food. Oh, I can see a low power mode. If I hopefully get rid of that, hopefully we will be. I thought I plugged everything in, actually. I haven't got a cable here, have I? No, never mind. Let's hope it doesn't. Let's hope it holds out. Hopefully it will do for the next kind of 15-20 minutes. If we lose you, Facebook, I apologise, and you'll have to hop onto Instagram. But one of the things that we've discovered was this connection with histamine.
Yes.
So since that, and we're going to record a whole podcast on this, and I'm also writing about it for the next issue of the magazine, which will be out in just a few weeks' time. But just tell us how you're doing with having a low histamine diet.
Yeah, so that's happened since the podcast that we did, and actually it's an amazing story because I happened to mention on the podcast that...
Scooch up to me so you can see
Oh,
on
yeah.
Facebook.
So I happened to mention on the podcast that I'm allergic to avocado, and avocado is really high in histamine. And the friend of this histamine doctor happened to listen to the podcast and email you and said, "My friend
amazing, isn't
is
it?
a histamine doctor. Avocado allergy is a key symptom. It's a super niche, weird area of medicine that's just emerging. Not weird, niche and emerging.
Yeah.
You must talk to her."
Yeah.
So it actually came out of that, and so I had a 2-hour phone consultation with Dr. Pierce, who we've subsequently, or you've interviewed.
Yeah.
She's going to be on the podcast
Yeah,
later when it
great.
restarts.
Really good.
And so I'm on a low histamine diet and a mega antihistamine that I have to take twice a day. And
do you still take all your other meds as well?
yes, I do. So I actually injected myself with the Ajov Injection yesterday.
That's the one that goes into your tummy.
It's the one that goes into my tummy.
Oof, I've watched you do it.
It's quite sore. I'm actually wearing leggings today because I can't bear to have anything around my tummy at the moment because it's a bit sore.
But that's quite new, isn't it? And that's helpful for a lot of people.
It is, yes. So I think in the podcast that we did with Dr. Munro, she said that about a third of people it cures them, about a third of people it helps by 50%, and a third of people it doesn't help.
And which third do you think you're in?
I think I'm probably going to be in the 50% third, but I just think it's taking me, because mine have been so extreme for such a long time,
Taking a while.
that it's taking
to
a while.
reset.
So I've just had my 4th injection.
Right.
And then I'm still on the gabapentin and duloxetine as well, so my regular meds. It's important to keep those level and going whilst I try this histamine thing, because then if the histamine works, we know exactly what it is. Whereas if you start messing around with the balance of your meds at the same
Gosh,
time...
You're a walking medicine cabinet at the moment, my sweetheart. You should see all the pills on the table and the charts, that's pinned up on the fridge now with, what to take.
Post-its on my fridge.
Oh, gosh. But yeah, so fingers crossed. But one of the things that is, I think, really good, wherever you are in this journey, whether you do have a pain issue or a health issue or, just, quote, anxiety, is just learning to switch off a bit, turning off these toxic news feeds, but not allowing yourself to be dragged down by it, and realising that there is an agenda very often at work. And one of the things that I looked at, and this was from a book which I wrote many, many years ago called Skin, and it's got a section in it here with some really lovely breathing exercises. Those of you who have followed me for a while may well have this. So I thought what we might do today together is we might actually just do it, because I've now got my expert demonstration model who can help. So do you feel up for that? Yeah, should we give this a go? So so the first thing you need to do is you need to sit up straight. So I just realised I'm wearing my lovely Aspiga dress. I'll pop a link to this in my link tree, because this is the one where you can get 10% off if you use your Liz Loves code, and it's a crossover. But because it was a bit chilly today, I wanted to wear it because it's bright and cheerful, but because it's a bit chilly, I popped a vest on underneath, and I can just see
you and your vest.
Me and my vest. Well, you know what mums are like, always saying, have you got your vest on? Have you got your vest on? No, of course she hasn't got a vest on. Just don't get cold, okay? Right, so we've got to stand up straight, we've got to put back straight. Okay, so shrug your shoulders up and then sink them down as far as they'll go, okay? So really I always say it's like unhooking them, because they creep up to our ears. So we've got to unhook them, okay? Unhooking, pushing our shoulders down, pulling our shoulder blades down, 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 down. Do this several times, and imagine that the top of your head is reaching up to the ceiling. Okay, so we've got that puppet string from here pulling us up, and our shoulders are going down. So we're creating that space, okay?
I'm not enjoying all the laughing emojis.
Just ignore them, okay? Just ignore them. Right, will you pay attention, class? Come on, take a deep breath. No, seriously, we've got to take a deep breath. Start taking deep, even breaths. Breathe in to a count of 4 or 5. Then you hold that breath for a couple of counts. And then you breathe out to a count of 6. Okay? So this is how we're getting the parasympathetic nervous system working, by breathing in for a little bit and out for longer. Okay, so let's try that again. So we'll go in for 4. Hold for a couple, and then out for 6.
Apparently the laughing emojis were about the vests.
The vests.
Not us doing breathing exercises.
In for 4, pay attention. And hold. Are we all feeling calmer? Slightly. Yeah, laughter is a good tonic. Okay, so we've got to, and then you basically increase that. Okay, so you basically increase it so that you're breathing in for 4 or 5 or 6, and you're breathing out for 7, 8, 9, 10. And then when you are breathing, try and breathe down from your tummy so that you're expelling everything from down here. And then if you want to go to the next stage, what you have to do is you close your eyes and you imagine that life-giving breath extending to all the corners of your body. And you can picture it flowing into your fingertips and down to your toes and around your back and your shoulders and around your head. So we're breathing in for 4. And hold. Out for longer. So that's the process. I hope that we're all feeling calmer now. I love that. It's really simple things. And then just some of these little simple movements that you can do here, with your head. Working out any bits of tension. I know I often see you do this because you get a really sore neck, don't you?
I do, yeah.
So it just reminds us to take time to do a bit of this. There's a whole load of stuff in this book. I actually popped onto Amazon because I've got a few copies of these on my website, on Liz Earle Wellbeing, where I consign them. But they're much cheaper on Amazon. I guess it's their buying power, isn't it? So I think they're down to about £8 or something. So yeah, you can grab a bargain there. But actually this whole section moves on to the power of smell. And that's me there making some oils. And that reminded me that this time last week when I was here in the studio, I wanted us to do some candle making together. And of course Lil wasn't well enough to join us. But I know lots of you have written to say that you have been doing this. This is the True Grace Candle Workshop. If you missed it, you'll find it on Facebook and in my Instagram, IGTV. It's an amazing box that you get that makes 6 really high quality candles, and you get all the bits and bobs that go with it. This is kind of the stuff that you missed, Lil. So you get this little...
That's so clever.
Double boiler, isn't it, with the little pory edges that you can use over your saucepan, and you get your special thermometer, you get all your little glass jars. This is one that I made called Portobello Oud, which is great. Can you smell it all right? Because I know you're sensitive to smell.
Yeah, I'll be okay.
Will you be okay? That's one of the things that I learned about migraine, is that you become heightened in sensitivity, don't you? So smell, taste, sound.
Oh, touch.
Touch even. You
When it's really bad.
Want a hug?
No,
you can't have anything.
No.
But hopefully I can hug you today.
Yes,
I'm very
I'm okay.
lucky to be able to do that. So this comes with all your different little bottles you can choose. So Portobello Oud is really just the one that I'm loving at the moment. This is Moroccan Rose, which is really fabulous. And then there's a seashore one as well, which just smells like a walk along a ocean. So I know that you, Lil, have been making candles.
I have.
Have you got one that you made earlier?
I've got one that I made earlier.
Like mother, like daughter. So when did you make that?
I made it last week.
You got a long wick.
I haven't used it yet, so I haven't cut it. The one that I've burnt does have.
But it's quite nice and straight. We were having a bit of a joke last week about wobbly wicks. How'd you get your wick so straight?
I will tell you how I got my wick so straight. I actually cheated a little bit. So I got... Oh no, I left them on the kitchen counter.
What did you get?
They were normally in here. So what it is a little... So this is your wick.
Yeah. Oh, is it a little cross thing like this?
No.
Oh, because this is what I've got that straightens your wick like that. So you put that over there.
No.
Wick straightener.
No, I got one that you put... It's a little sticky dot.
Oh, I got that as well.
And then
I stuck my wick with a dot to stand it up.
to stand it up.
Yeah.
And then I just poured it in.
And that was... okay.
And held it.
Now, when you did this, how much perfume did you use, and where did you get
enough.
it from? Okay, so what did you use?
So I've been using essential oils rather than a perfume or fragrance.
Yeah.
Where did it go?
So, because I've got some essential oils here. I've got one, that's your eucalyptus, I think.
Oh, yeah, it's already out. There we go. So I got, this is from a company called White Rose, and they specialise in fragrances and products for cosmetics and candles and soaps and stuff.
Because mine are Neil's Yard. I like the little blue bottles.
Yes. So this one was eucalyptus, rosemary, and then I put a little bit of spearmint in it as well, just to give it a bit of a zing.
Get you.
Thanks. But it doesn't really smell of anything, and I put about 10 drops in.
I can smell a little bit of spearmint.
Yeah.
But not much else.
But that I only put 2 drops of spearmint in and 10 of eucalyptus. But I was then looking online at some tutorials, and they said put 100 drops in.
Wow, 100 drops of oil. That is, I think, why these candles can be so expensive, because that is a lot of oil.
Yeah.
This is one of the ones that I wanted to try actually for myself if I'm doing some blends. It's Vetiver. So Vetiver...
What's Vetiver?
Well, it's quite a masculine scent. It'll need to be mixed with something else like neroli or something slightly sweeter, maybe some geranium, because it's quite a leathery, earthy male scent. They use Vetiver a lot in men's aftershave.
Ah, okay.
But I do love it, and I think it would burn quite nicely.
It would
give that kind of green aroma. If smells can have colours, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
I think they can. Anyway, if you're interested, True Grace, you get 10% off. You just use Liz Loves on their website, truegrace.co.uk. Lots of great reports. I tried it out. I thought they were fab. I also think that they do all the top-up bits that you can buy, so you can buy more wicks. If you have an issue with your wick and you need new ones, then that's where to go, and you can buy all the sustainable waxes and all of that kind of thing. Make them as presents. You know, we've got Father's Day coming up. I know there's been a bit of chat about Father's Day. Sorry, I'm just going to close that. I'm now down to 10% of battery on FaceTime, so hopefully we'll be all right. Facebook, sorry, not FaceTime, thank you. I can tell, you're the techie one. But there are a few ideas coming up for Father's Day, which I wanted to share. So actually making a Vetiver candle or making something with a more masculine scent, something that you've made yourself is always so much nicer, isn't it? This is also rather lovely. These are our friends down in Salcombe Dairy. So this is the masculine box. It's got a sailing ship with its rope handle, and you get 10 different bars of chocolate.
Wow.
And they make them themselves. The small family firm, which, another shout out to a small British brand doing things well. And they give us 10% again. If you put Liz Loves in the code, and they will deliver. You can send it with a gift message to your dad, or of course to yourself if you fancy chocolate.
Excellent.
And you, I think, can have some of that, because histamine, you can't normally have chocolate.
No, you can have white chocolate.
White chocolate, and they do a very nice white chocolate.
Excellent.
So
shotgun.
You can have a shotgun, that one. Actually, this is something I found for you. That's a little present for you, Lil.
Oh,
I found this online. It's a little book called Histamine, Intolerance Explained. And I thought that's got some of the things about what you can do there for the kinds of foods that you can eat. Because you can't really have fermented foods either, can you?
No.
So that's me going on about kefir.
Yes, and you have to be careful which probiotics you take.
Yes.
So Dr. Pierce has given me a list of which ones to take.
Yeah. Now, we have got a feature on Liz Earle Wellbeing if you want to have a look at that. It's a little bit about histamine. It talks about the foods. It talks about the right kinds of probiotics that you can take. And this I wrote as a response to Lil. And then we're going to be doing more in depth about it. But it's a really good starter. So if you think that you might be affected by it, all different kinds of symptoms, and it also gets mixed up with menopause because there's a relationship between estrogen and histamine.
There is.
So this is, all getting slightly complicated, but it's worth exploring. It's really worth exploring. And, again, if you have any sensitivities to those types of foods, like avocados, that could be a clue, couldn't it? Something else that might be helpful before we sign off is that we do still have, talking about the magazine, a few copies of this. This is the current issue, which is on sale just for the next few weeks, because we're beginning our new one soon. And if you want to send one single issue with a friend, to a friend or member of your family or whatever, with a note, then we will hand write a note to go with it. But you have to go to the Liz Earle Wellbeing website.
Very busy.
We're very busy.
Writing.
Yes, we are very busy writing, it's true. And because I've had some lovely messages, it's been a real pleasure to see them all come in, actually, that get written to people's mums or sisters or colleagues or whatever. So it's just a nice way to send a little thing to somebody in the post that's not very expensive, and it's very thoughtful and hopefully really helpful and useful for somebody. So we do have some of those, but you do have to go to the Liz Earle Wellbeing website, because if you subscribe, it takes you through to Warner's, and they do our subscriptions, and that's great if you want to subscribe, but they get very confused if you start asking for gift messages, because they don't know what we're doing. That's a kind of a rogue thing that we're doing here directly. So just to let you know about that. If you want free magazines, who doesn't love a free magazine? Ooh. Do you know about Readly? Have you come across Readly?
I do know about Readly.
You do know about Readly. Okay, so Readly is this organisation that put digital magazines online all over the world. Tens of thousands of them, literally anything, from all the favourites, Good Housekeeping and Hello and Vogue and all of that, to Anglers Monthly or, any kind of specialist. And you pay a monthly subscription, $7.99 a month, and that gives you access to all your magazines, including Liz Earle Wellbeing and our back issues. So it's a lovely, wherever you are in the world, big shout out to all of you watching overseas. This is really great. I know we had a message yesterday or the day before from a lady in Cyprus saying that she was really enjoying it because she could now get all her magazines really, really cheaply, and you can get them free for a month, because you get your first month free if you click the link that I'll give you in Linktree. So if you go there after this, or I know Amy's going to do it on Facebook, then that's a special link that gives you a free month. So you can download all these magazines, you can read them all, and then decide whether you want to continue it or not, up to you. But I think it's a really, really good thing. So I'm very happy to give it a shout out, and I'm really happy that Liz Earle Wellbeing and all my back issues are on there as well. We do have a few back issues in print. I know a lot of you have been using this time to make your collection. Thank you for sending me pictures of your Liz Earle Wellbeing shelf, your shelfie. with all your books and your magazines. It's been really lovely to see. And yeah, the shelfies are getting longer and longer. Don't throw your magazines away, because you can always refer back to them. There's so many lovely recipes and ideas and seasonal things. We do have a few of the back issues. We don't have every one, but they're all on the Liz Earle Wellbeing website, so if you want to take a look. Big shout out to Basil going on before we go. Okay, come on, Baz. Can we see Basil? We can't see Basil very well on Facebook.
There we go.
Hello, Basil.
This is Basil.
Sweet. So tell us about Basil.
Basil's my dog. Or your
my grand dog.
Or your grand dog.
She calls me Granny. I'm not really sure about this. I'm really not sure. No, I'm not. Hello, precious.
I saw some of you asking in the comments what breed she is. We don't know what breed she is because she's a rescue from Battersea Dogs Home. We got her when she was a puppy and she was about a third of the size, with the same size ears. She had to grow into her ears. They kind of stuck out like this.
She is just a honey. And you trained her so well, Lil. I mean, you went online, you got all the dog tutorials.
I did, yeah.
You know, she's a super well-behaved dog. And she's even got her own Instagram.
She does, obviously.
So what is she? Botanical Baz?
Botanical Baz, but she features a lot on my Instagram as well.
Yeah, and you're Amaryllis Earle, aren't you?
Amaryllis.Earle.
Amaryllis Earle, because Amaryllis is actually Lily's real name.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I always knew that it would come into its own one day.
One day.
You'd need a really smart, unusual name like Amaryllis. It's because you were born in January, the beginning of January, when everybody was just, you know, sending me bunches of Amaryllis. Well, not everybody, but a few of the bunches that I had when I was going
because they're
into
Christmas
labour.
flowers.
They are Christmas flowers,
yeah.
the red Amaryllis, and they just are so beautiful and striking, like my lovely Lil. Anyway, thank you for being here, my sweetheart. I'm getting licked to death. We're going to love you and leave you. I hope that you have enjoyed our little chats today. Thank you for being
So nice to be here.
me.
So nice to chat to you all.
It's really, really good. I hope that we can do some more sofa stuff. Now, I'm not going to be with you tomorrow because I'm going to go and see my parents and sit at a safe distance in their garden and see them. But I am back on Friday. So Friday I've got lots of lovely things planned on Friday. I'm going to do quite a bit about hair. I've had quite a lot of chats about hair loss and hair things, so I'm going to focus on that on Friday, and then Saturday I'm here with Dr. Louise Newson and the Menopause Doctor team. Before we go, just a very quick question for you, and also for you, Lil, because you are the hair guru. Mm-hmm. I've got this. What do you reckon? Pink hair dye. Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll leave it with you. I might do a poll on my Instagram stories just to
on the
see.
very blonde bit,
just on the blondie bits. Yeah, well, you're so good at all that, so maybe. I'm not quite decided. I'll take a view. Anyway, thank you for being with us. Sending lots of love.
Bye.
Bye-bye.